Sophia's tragic is a life lost too soon in what should have been a beautiful moment of youthful celebration. Heartbreak is about to unravel, and it begins with a tragedy that strikes before the music even starts. Days of Our Lives viewers are in for an emotionally shattering storyline as Sophia Choi, the bright but burdened teen portrayed by Rachel Boyd, suffers a devastating miscarriage, marking a turning point in her life and in Salem's ever-turbulent tapestry. Yes, you read that right, Sophia will lose her baby. And it happens sooner than anyone is prepared for. This loss doesn't come gradually. It strikes swiftly, heartbreakingly, and at a time when she is trying to cling to something normal, something joyful. At just 6 months pregnant, Sophia is still adjusting to the daily realities of her condition. She's grappling with the emotional weight of becoming a mother while still being, in many ways, a child herself. And now, that difficult journey will be abruptly and painfully cut short. Let's back up to how this all begins. Tate Black, Leo Howard, ever the charming and kind-hearted soul, reaches out to Sophia with a hopeful gesture. He asks her to go to prom. For most teens, prom is a rite of passage, a memory in the making. For Sophia, it feels like a lifeline. A chance to breathe. To feel like herself again. To forget, if only for a night, that her life has become a swirl of adoption papers, prenatal appointments, and sleepless nights filled with questions about her future. Tate's invitation comes not just from a place of affection, but from genuine care. He sees Sophia struggling. He hears the tremor in her voice when she talks about the baby. He notices the way her smile falters every time someone mentions the word labor. And so, he does what any good-hearted teen would do, he offers her an escape. An evening to reclaim a bit of her youth before the demands of motherhood descend. And Sophia? She says yes. She chooses to let herself hope. She picks out a dress. She lets her mom fuss over her hair. She lets herself be excited, even just a little. But under the surface, there are cracks. Not long before prom, viewers catch a crucial moment that many might have missed. Sophia hesitates before signing the adoption papers. At first glance, it may seem like a fleeting beat, but it's laced with meaning. Just before she's about to sign away her future with the child, she feels the baby kick for the first time. It's a powerful, primal moment. A whisper of connection. A flicker of maternal instinct. Yet there's an eerie undertone, because that kick came much later than it should have. Sophia is nearly 6 months pregnant, and this is the first movement she's felt. For anyone who's been pregnant, or even been around someone who has, this raises red flags. Doctors typically expect mothers to feel fetal movement somewhere between 16 and 24 weeks. Sophia's delayed reaction to that milestone is a serious cause for concern. And that's not all. The visual cues are also unsettling. Sophia is visibly quite large, round, even, for someone claiming she hasn't felt a kick yet. Medical professionals would never let that slide without thorough investigation. And yet, in this story, it's brushed past, until now. The tension crescendos on prom night. Sophia, dressed beautifully, is glowing with nervous excitement. She meets Tate, and for a fleeting moment, the world is kind. The music swells, the lights twinkle, and the buzz of teenage energy pulses around them. But this is Days of Our Lives, and nothing stays calm for long. As the night progresses, the worst-case scenario begins to unfold. Perhaps it's the stress. Perhaps it's the dancing. Or perhaps, as many fans are speculating, Sophia will bump into someone hard. The impact may be jarring enough to send her body into distress, triggering premature labor. There is nothing more horrifying for a young girl than to feel the signs of labor before she's ready, and Sophia is absolutely not ready. As paramedics are called, the mood shatters. Screams pierce the music. Blood. Panic. Tate, helpless, tries to comfort her. But everyone around knows the truth, 6 months is early. Too early. And despite the best efforts of medical staff, the baby doesn't survive. The miscarriage is confirmed in the hospital. Sophia's world collapses. She is no longer just a teenager with a difficult decision, she is now a mother who has lost a child. Her body and heart will bear the scars of this moment forever. The adoption, the prom, the preparations, all of it falls into silence. And Tate? He's left standing beside her, unsure how to help, how to mend what's been so brutally broken. The fallout is immense. Sophia's grief will be layered and complex. She didn't even know if she wanted to keep the baby, but she had started to bond with it. That one tiny kick was enough to change the rhythm of her heart. And now? It's gone. She's haunted by what-ifs. By the timing. By whether she should have gone to prom at all. Whether the baby might have survived had she stayed home. And yet, this storyline doesn't exist just to pull at heartstrings. It reflects the very real, very raw experience of teenage pregnancy, loss, and the impossible choices young women are often forced to make. Sophia's character is not just a plot device, she's a mirror for the countless young women navigating fear, shame, responsibility, and heartbreak all at once. Meanwhile, Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, watching this all unfold, may find herself reconsidering her own choices. With Sophia's trauma laid bare, Holly might ask Doug 3 to prom, perhaps out of a desire to preserve some semblance of normalcy, or perhaps to cling to something joyful in the face of so much pain. But nothing will feel quite the same anymore. Not after this. As the town of Salem reels, so too will its audience. Viewers over 65, many of whom have experienced loss in some form, will feel the weight of this story deeply. It's not just a dramatic twist, it's a reminder of how fragile life is, and how quickly dreams can turn to tragedy. And yet, in classic soap fashion, even amidst devastation, stories continue. Sophia's loss will ripple through Salem, reshaping relationships, deepening alliances, and forcing characters to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves and the world they live in. So stay tuned. The prom may be over, but the impact of that night will echo for weeks, if not months, to come. And as always in Days of Our Lives, every ending is also a beginning. Even if it starts with tears. Days of Our Lives spoiler recap and expansion. Gabby's bold $15,000 move leaves JJ stunned as jealousy boils over at the Brady pub. The aftermath of betrayal can linger long in the heart. Especially when love turns into suspicion, and suspicion explodes into public humiliation. For Gabby, that storm had been brewing beneath her polished surface ever since JJ dared to accuse her of one of the most unthinkable crimes, attempted murder. But yesterday's episode offered not only emotional release, it gave Gabby a chance to reclaim her dignity, and perhaps deliver a bit of justice the only way she knows how, dramatically, stylishly, and very, very publicly. It all began on a seemingly ordinary day. The sun filtered lazily into the Hernandez kitchen, where Gabby, wrapped in her robe of mixed emotions, poured herself a glass of orange juice. Her ears perked up as she overheard Javi and Leo, two of Salem's most flamboyant gossip mongers, laughing in the living room while watching the televised coverage of the charity bachelor auction organized to benefit the local hospital. The event was all the rage. Eligible bachelors lined up to sell their time to the highest bidder. But it wasn't just about charity, it was about charm, competition, and hidden motives. Gabby entered the room and spotted Javi practically drooling over Alex, one of the featured bachelors. But Leo, as sharp-tongued as ever, cooled Javi's excitement with a cold splash of past drama. Alex had once threatened to kill him, for Sonny, no less. A revelation that should have warned Javi off, but, as always in Salem, gossip was currency, and danger only heightened desire. Just when the two were about to descend into further debate, Gabby dropped a bomb of her own. "You two realize Alex isn't single, or gay, right?" she said, the casual sip of juice masking the storm she was about to unleash. The tension shifted instantly. Her tone was cutting. She wasn't here for playful banter, she had something deeper burning inside. Javi, never one to let a confrontation go to waste, teased her about JJ. But instead of laughing it off, Gabby's eyes narrowed and, with a swift flick of her hand, she delivered a slap sharp enough to silence him, and get Leo's full attention. It was then that Gabby unleashed her truth. JJ had accused her of attempted murder. Her voice cracked as she recounted how he'd looked at her, not like someone who had once loved her, not even like someone who cared, but like a prosecutor ready to throw the book at her. That moment had shattered her trust. The betrayal seared her deeper than any wound she had suffered in the past. Leo tried to lighten the situation, suggesting maybe JJ's actions weren't that crazy, given Salem's track record of shocking reveals and half-truths. But Gabby wasn't having it. I wasn't just blamed, I was condemned, she snapped. By someone who knew me. Or claimed to. Seeing her spiraling, Javi stepped in. Come with us to the festival, he urged. You need a break. You need to live a little. Forget about JJ and let the whole town see what he threw away. It wasn't long before Leo had another spark of mischief. Better yet, he said, let's auction you off a bachelor. Let's make JJ watch as you claim someone new. Though initially resistant, Gabby, perhaps looking for closure, or vengeance, agreed. The three arrived at the Brady pub just as the bachelor auction was heating up. Kayla, always the picture of elegance even under pressure, was emceeing the event, ushering in Alex as the first bachelor of the evening. As Alex took the stage, Leo gleefully threw in the first bid, sparking a comically short bidding war with both Stephanie and Javi. Stephanie's bid of $1,000 seemed to seal the deal, until a shadow loomed in the pub's entrance. JJ had walked in. Everything stopped. Gabby's heart pounded, not with fear, but with a fierce determination. She turned, locked eyes with the man who had once promised her the world and instead delivered condemnation, and raised her hand. 10,000, she declared. The pub gasped. JJ stood frozen, caught off guard. 15,000, Gabby added with a calm, icy edge that silenced even Leo's wide eyes and agape mouth. The room erupted in murmurs, cheers, and confusion. Kayla nearly dropped the microphone. Leo clutched Javi's arm like he'd seen a ghost. JJ's mouth twisted into a frown, but beneath it was something else. Something primal. Something green. Jealousy. Gabby had done it. She hadn't just won the auction, she'd won the moment. Kayla handed her the receipt and thanked her with sincere warmth. The hospital thanks you, Gabby, she said. And so do I. This will go a long way. But even amidst Kayla's gratitude, the night wasn't over. Stephanie and Alex approached to offer their thanks, but things turned awkward quickly. Gabby, perhaps still drunk on adrenaline and the taste of revenge, brushed against Alex ever so slightly. The moment lingered too long, enough for Stephanie to stiffen and subtly loop her arm through Alex's. The message was clear, he's taken. But Gabby didn't care. The message she had already delivered was louder. Meanwhile, Leo and Javi found JJ nursing a drink in the corner, eyes still on Gabby, pretending he didn't care. But they knew better. What's it like, Leo asked with an evil glint, to watch the woman you betrayed drop 15 grand just to make a point? JJ didn't answer. But his silence spoke volumes. The guilt, the rage, the wounded pride, it was all there, bubbling just beneath the surface. Back at her table, Gabby leaned back with a rare, quiet smile. Tonight wasn't about love. It wasn't about Alex. And it certainly wasn't about moving on. It was about power. And for the first time since JJ turned on her, Gabby felt like she had it back. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing Salem never lacks, it's fallout. And after tonight's explosive bachelor auction, the aftershocks are bound to shake more than just JJ's fragile ego.